Good morning, y'all. I am with Erika Arms at Journey to Health Chakra Center, and we are going to talk about how stress affects the body. Erika, what is it that you do here?
I'm a board certified naturopath and an energy healer and certified natural health practitioner. And we have other practitioners in the office that also do energy healing too. We understand how stress affects the body. But honestly, I think 20 years ago when I was in the corporate automotive, if someone told me that stress could affect organs, my shoulder pain, my neck pain, I would have been, oh yeah, no, that doesn't resonate with me or make sense. But oh, I've learned so much. So yes, it does. It can reside in organs and other body parts.
It affects all kinds of things that we don't believe that it affects. We
Right.
believe that modern medicine has all the answers. And the nice thing about Erika's credentials is that she has learned more than they learned in medical school about the cells of the body and how stress affects the body. So how have you seen it in your own life?
So this is a really good example of, let's say, digestion problems in the stomach when you have a stomach ache. Think about a situation if you're driving and someone pulls out in front of you and you almost get into a car accident and that gut feeling goes to your stomach, right?
Yes.
Doesn't your stomach get upset?
Yes.
So that's a perfect example. That was a stressful situation. Now that your stomach hurts because of the event, there's really no difference if it's a marriage separation or a sick family member. Those emotions go right to the gut. So you're going to have a hard time digesting that. You're going to have a hard time digesting life. It affects you. So if you're not digesting in the stomach properly, that affects your brain health too, and other things.
Just curious, when you were going through your schooling for this, did they teach you about how long the stress affects the body?
How long?
So let's say
yeah.
you are in a situation where
Right.
you're almost in an accident or you're in an accident and you've got that rush of stress hormones.
Right. Which is your cortisol, and affects
Yes.
your adrenals and affects your kidneys, and that's your
Yes.
adrenal health. How long is really up to you and how you want to manage it. It's entirely up to you. So the other thing we find interesting in this office too, not interesting, it's pure fact, and we were taught in naturopathy school about the energy centers of your chakras. And you have 7 of them, and I'll go through them quickly: crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar, sacral, and root. And those stresses the stresses and how they affect the energy centers affects you physically. So when we use energy healing in the office to open up a broken heart, yes, broken heart, we've actually had clients get dizzy and have to catch themselves because I just opened a very large energy center because it was blocked. That has been profound, because literally I've had clients say, okay, I'm just like, sit down, and then I get a little nervous about opening up the heart chakras on people, not knowing how it's going to affect them.
Right.
But yeah, isn't that neat?
That is really neat.
I know.
So you were talking about the gut a minute ago.
Right.
So can we go a little deeper into that? Expand on that?
It's digesting life. And
Digesting life.
It's digesting life. And really learning how to go with the flow. This is why we work with chiropractors, all different sorts of chiropractors that allow that energy to flow. People think it's just a physical adjustment. It's amazing that it's actually more than just a physical adjustment. It's a spiritual adjustment and a mind adjustment too. So it's very powerful. Hi, good morning. UPS delivered on time today. But yeah, so let's think. So you have a stomach ache. How's your food going to digest? It's just not. But going into what you do, Kelly, is so fabulous. And I know I can put myself back in corporate automotive when I was really stressed out, getting up, going to work, getting the kids ready, coming home, making dinner.
Rush.
My brain is out to here because I've had way too much going on. Yoga brought me back to center.
Yes.
So it is true. It does bring you back to center. Now we have more visitors. Hi, just wait. We'll be there with you in a minute. But yeah.
So we were talking about mapping it out in the body.
Right.
So let's just say I've lost someone that I love and I'm going through grief. Where would you map that out?
Every person is different. on where they map it out
Interesting.
and where they want to store the energy. That's funny that you bring that up because
Well, I'm glad I did.
I actually had that experience when my mother had passed away. My heart was so broken, and I had so much pain and so much fear. So fear hides in the kidneys, anger hides in the liver. Those are just a few. But I became really sick.
And where did you experience it?
My Epstein-Barr virus went active, so I had mono for 6 months, and I got shingles at a young age that shouldn't be getting shingles. So it was a tough time. It took 6 months of healing and seeing my personal naturopaths and my holistic remedies to get me back on track.
Did you have any experience with it here in your lungs?
There was so much going on, and it was so many years ago that there was a lot of things going on. But the realization that I physically made myself ill because of stress and heartache was a huge realization for me. And we all, that's fine. We can all live in, with fairies and unicorns. And I'm all for that, by the way. But you really need to learn the flow of life.
Yeah, you're right. It really is about learning how to go with the flow.
It's going with the flow. We have waves. We have tidal waves.
Right.
We have to get through the tidal wave.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And when you're under stress, your wave is more of a direct line. And I think that's why we experience it so negatively. And when you're in a positive mode, it's more of a wave. Right. But not that straight line.
That's how you're going to deal with it. Now, what with the case of the car that almost pulled out in front of you and gave you a stomach ache, what was the reaction? Were you angry? You have to really evaluate the emotion that you had when that happened too, and how you're going to release it. And honestly, you don't even know the situation. What if someone was having a health issue and they didn't mean to pull out in front of you? Maybe their parent died that morning. You just don't know, and you really need to consider. We just need to be more respectful in considering other people's lives too.
Right, and the way you experience it too is also affected by the energy that you had with you when you were driving the car and that occurred. Because if you're already stressed out, if you're already anxious or angry, or you've got a story going in your head that's negative, when that occurs, you're going to have a more negative experience. It's going to be a different effect. Whereas if you're driving around and you're singing to the radio, yes, it's going to affect you, but it's not going to be as strong, meaning you're going to be able to move in that wave and go with the flow a little bit more. So the stress factor is going to be lower.
Right.
So, oops, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
So what kind of physical symptoms would you recommend people be aware of?
Pain. If you're in pain or discomfort, you really need to analyze this. And I know so many friends and even my spouse that has had shoulder surgery. There's emotions in the shoulders, guys. You call it a sports injury, call it whatever you want. Yes, those happen. But I'm telling you, think about when your neck hurts and when you start not being able to shift your neck.
Been there.
Yeah, been there too. About 25 years ago. It was stress. It's just learning how to manage. Kelly's great. She's a great teacher. She's a great inspirational person. So thank you even for helping me.
Thank you.
I didn't wake up knowing all this overnight. It's been years of working with other healers, working with myself, working with clients.
Yes. It's me.
Yeah.
And your own personal life experience, where if you are in that stress mode on a constant basis, you're not noticing the little signs or the little voice inside your head saying, slow down, take a break. And it just continues to expand and expand and expand until that's how you're living your life. And then again, that goes back to not only how you're experiencing it in your body, but the thoughts that you're having that you're not even aware of, those unconscious thoughts where the false beliefs reside that keep you moving in that mode. And you aren't even conscious of it. That's why it's unconscious. But I had my own personal experience with stress and the neck, where I actually hit my head, I ruptured a disc in my neck, and I was rendered immobile for a period of time. And every cell in my body hurt. And if it had not been for my yoga practice, which I had already established and was very, very strong, and I don't just mean physically, I mean, living the practice of being mindful, using the breath, being aware of what's happening in my body. I don't believe that I would have been able to heal without the surgery. And I never had the surgery. They wanted to cut open my throat, take out 2 of my vertebrae, fuse my spine. And when I asked what my options were, they laughed at me. And I would literally visualize myself laying still because I couldn't move, practicing yoga. So I would do the sun salutations in my mind. And I would visualize what it was like to be able to bring in that deep, full breath, what it was like to be able to raise my arms overhead because I couldn't do that, what it was like to bend forward. And that actually started to change the experience that I had as far as physically, where it changed the chemistry in my brain, in my body, and helped me to heal and move through the stress. So I would go back to that, and being in that, even just in my own mind, was helping me to calm myself and change my whole life experience. So
I love that. And you don't even know this because so last night it's bedtime, right? It's time to go. And I'm thinking about all the stuff I've had to get done this week, trying to get ready for trips and all that other great stuff. And
yeah.
so I'm laying in bed and I'm talking to every cell in my body. So I started from my